it went off. What does that frog mean? What does that frog mean? To make sure that chat's only about
a time change.
Yeah, a time change or a scene change. Good. So now they went from being in science class into back to the end of the day. At the end of the day, while everybody's getting ready to go home, Ben asks Miss Kutcher for permission to go back to the science room. He hopes Miss Tibbetts is there. He wants the frog back. Miss Tibbetts is sitting at her desk. The frog is in the glass jar in front of her. Something feels sort of sad about Miss Tibbetts all alone in the room with the frog. Ben takes a deep breath, then lets it out all at once. Miss Tibbetts? She looks up. Yes, Ben. Do you have a question about the homework? It's about the frog. He waits for a moment for her to say something. When she doesn't, he goes on. I'm sorry I brought it in class, and I shouldn't have had it out in class. Ryan wanted to see it, and it got away. Miss Tibbetts looks at him, then at the frog in the jar. Where did you find it? She asks. Out behind my house. In your backyard? Not exactly, Ben hesitates. Then the words pour out in a rush. First I heard this chirping noise, and then I followed it to this place where it's really wet. There were a lot of puddles and a bunch of trees standing in the water. And then I heard the chirps again. I guessed it was frogs, or maybe toads. Those were frogs, spring peepers. How do you know? Ben asked. I can't be sure without hearing them for myself, but the way you described the place and the sound, it had to be peepers. I often go out to listen to them in the spring. I love being outdoors. Me too. My husband taught science too, biology. He was the one who really loved frogs. I like frogs, Ben says, and lizards at home in Tucson. I had a terrarium with a gecko in it. Tucson, is that where you moved from? Ben nods. There was a wash near my house where the river ran when it rained, and I found all sorts of great stuff there. Sometimes I went with my friend Toby. I bet you miss it. Yeah, I do. It's different here. Ben has already said more than he'd imagined he would. Miss Tibbetts is the first person in Massachusetts who seems to have noticed anything about him. He likes Miss Kutcher all right, but she's never asked him about where he lived or what he likes. Miss Tibbetts picks up the jar and holds it out. Well, Ben, I imagine that this frog feels the same way you do about missing her home. Why don't you take her and put her back where she belongs? Ben smiles. Okay, I will. I'm sorry. It's all right, but no more frogs in school, okay? Ben says. Unless I ask for them, of course. Miss Tibbetts gives him a little wink. Ben takes the jar. He's almost out of the classroom door when Miss Tibbetts calls out, Oh, Ben! He stops and turns back. Miss Tibbetts hesitates for a moment, then says, The young man who used to help me around the yard has taken a full-time job at a landscape center. I have a big place and can't take care of it all by myself. Would you like to help me some Saturday? I have some nice woods and a pond on my land. When we get through working, maybe we could go for a walk and see what kind of critters we can find. The word critters jumps out at Ben like an old friend. It's a word Mr. Tompkins always used. But Ben has never been to a teacher's house before. The whole thing seemed a little strange. Sure, he says. Fine. Some Saturdays then, whenever it stops raining. Okay, Ben says, and he hurries down the hall carrying a glass jar with a toad inside. He doesn't want to miss the bus. He's got a frog to deliver. All right. Finish that chapter up.